Throughout the years, News Channel 6 has been honored to impact the lives of thousands of families in need. It's our way of giving back to the community we proudly serve. Sponsored by Aiken Regional Medical Centers and Bath Fitter.
President Biden
On how we can make your life a little easier.
What makes me proud to be a part of Piedmont is the relationships I've developed. I can say that some of my best friends work at this hospital.
We met in the NICU at Piedmont.
We did. It was just one of those things where it was an instant friendship. Our unit is really good at supporting each other. It is such a blessing to have people have your back.
No matter what comes in the door, I know that we can handle it. We are proud to be Piedmont.
Hey, Braves fans.
The Live 5 or 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
Well, you'll notice on our graph here, we have one more day. Official first day of the summer where it's dry, and then we're going to introduce some rain chances. Finally, we get those summer storms going. We'll take a look at that in a very active tropics. Coming up to the 5 or 6
Right now on News Channel 6 at 6, Augusta Commissioners taking a close look at the city charter, what they're looking for, and who they're going to hire to do this review. As your News at 6 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 6.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brad Means. Thanks for joining us. Jenny is on assignment tonight as coverage you can count on begins in Augusta, where there will be a new sheriff in town. Yesterday, Richmond County voters chose Gino Brantley over Sheriff Richard Roundtree. But Brantley may face another candidate come November. Richard Dixon qualified as an independent candidate, and if he gets enough signatures on a petition, he will be on the ballot in the general election.
I think it's great. I think after 12 years, it's time for some new blood. The city has changed, and sometimes when you've been in a position for a long time, you probably get stuck in your ways and may not be open to new things. So bringing somebody else in new, and I've seen Mr. Brantley at several functions, and I like the way what he says he's going to do with the city.
If Dixon does not get the required number of signatures by July 9th, then Brantley takes office in January. How about the Superior Court race in Augusta? Charles Lyons III, your unofficial winner there, getting 65% of the vote, just over 13,000 people casting their ballots for him. His challenger, Matt Matson, getting about 7,200 votes. We now know the Republican nominee for a state House seat out of Columbia County, where Rob Clifton won the nomination yesterday over Paul Abbott. Clifton owns a construction business and tells News Channel 6 he's grateful to everyone who came out and voted, but the race isn't over yet.
My platform's simple. I'm a conservative businessman. I really feel like in government, and especially in the state house, we need more business-minded individuals.
I've been a public servant, and I'm a people person, so, I'm going to be available to people.
Clifton will face Democrat Heather White in the November general election. As we take a first check of our weather, our chief meteorologist Tim Miller is here now.
Brian, we're going to be talking about the tropics as Alberto has formed, and looks pretty impressive here, at least with this particular satellite view. But you'll take a look at some of the stats here with this thing. 40-mile-per-hour winds, so it's barely a tropical storm, but still, nonetheless, tropical storms can pack a punch. It's moving off towards the west-northwest. At roughly about 9 miles per hour, so it's not making any big movements at all, but what it will do is will make landfall in Mexico. We're going to talk more about that and what possibly could develop behind that, as well as what's out in the Atlantic, all coming up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we're going to come closer to home and go to the downtown Aiken, where the alley is looking great. If going out to dinner tonight, should be absolutely fabulous. No worries at all. Current temperature in Aiken is 87 degrees, 88 at Bushfield, still 90 in Gibson, Sparta at 91. McCormick and Lincoln sharing 90 degrees, and our winds have been from the east pretty much of the day, but at a fairly good clip. Look at Barnwell at 15 miles per hour, so that's a pretty nice breeze when it's about 90 degrees. Notice no rain, right? It's been dry. How's your grass look? Probably like hay. Little onshore flow, of course. A little sea breeze front gives us a few showers down near Savannah, but that's about it. That will be changing as we move into the next couple days as well. Notice temperatures all across the southeast fairly seasonable, not any big-time heat. The big-time heat is up north And that's going to sort of sneak down our way as we get in towards the weekend, early part of next week. Tonight, though, it's a pleasant night, 65 for the overnight low. We'll call it clear and mild. Tomorrow will once again be near 90 degrees, the official first day of summer. Summer comes in around 4 o'clock. We'll pick it up at the airport and bring it home and have a festival with it, because it's going to start to be feeling really like summer. Temperatures will start to be in the mid to upper 90s by the weekend, and our rain chances return on Friday. We'll talk more about that in detail on what to expect, all coming up in just a few minutes. Brad?
All right, Tim, thank you. The charter for Augusta has been the blueprint for local government for nearly 30 years, but city leaders say now it's time for a second look. The story from News Channel 6's senior reporter George Escala.
The consolidation bill is what Augusta's government has followed since the 1990s, but the document could be in for an overhaul.
People want to see some change in this government and see in this community, and I think this is a great step towards that, and I think it's going to happen.
Commissioners giving the go-ahead to bring in experts from UGA to create a charter review commission to study the charter and decide if it needs updating.
The question about whether the charter needs to be changed is not a yes or no for me. It is a let's look at this charter, let's see what needs to be changed, let's review it properly.
I don't know how my colleagues feel, but I'd like to change just about everything that can be changed in it.
I think it's time. A document been around for a long time, so we need to look and see what we need to change.
Right now, commissioners have the hiring and firing power for department directors. Franham would like to change the charter to turn that authority over to a city manager.
When you look at how this government's ran for the past 28 years, it's not been efficient. And I think that though there'll be the naysayers that say we shouldn't be a city manager form of government, that's the only form of government it should be.
The consolidation bill is the form of government Augusta has followed for years. But now city leaders are ready to decide if it should remain that way. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Happening now, festivities underway to celebrate Juneteenth. It's a day marking the freedom and emancipation of African Americans from slavery more than 150 years ago. And a big celebration happening right now in Augusta at the James Brown Arena. The parking lot is rocking, and Bria Smith is live in the middle of it all. Bria.
Brad, well, people have been out here celebrating this holiday since 12 this afternoon, and some I spoke with say this day holds so much history. June 19th, 1865, African-American slaves were officially freed in America. Today, the Band of Brothers Augusta nonprofit organization is hosting its 8th annual Juneteenth celebration. The event features live music, entertainment, fun for kids, and food. It also includes more than 100 vendors and health and wellness checks.
I mean, if you don't know your truth, you don't know your future or, where you're going or coming from.
A lot of people don't get a chance to celebrate their history. So we wanted to bring my daughter out here because she doesn't get an opportunity to do things like this a lot. She's 2, almost 3. So we just wanted to come out here in order to celebrate, to show her where her ancestry lives, to show her what culture is.
The event is free for anyone to attend if you haven't already done so, and will go on until 9:30 p.m. tonight. All you have to do is bring your family and your friends for a good time. Live in Augusta, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
And while Juneteenth is a day of celebration, it can also be observed as a day of education and community service. Some are using the holiday to clean and maintain African-American cemeteries. That includes Cedar Grove and Somerville Fitton Street in Augusta, which are known as antebellum cemeteries. Historians say these types of burial sites can serve as real outdoor museums, places to learn more about those who were enslaved and their families.
But the majority of African Americans, those folks who were enslaved, they don't become a part of the readily public accessible records until 1870. Some of them that are on tablets have a very long description of it that otherwise wouldn't exist anywhere else.
And I'll tell you, the members of this community who support the Somerville Fitton Street Cemetery say they are always looking for volunteers to help clean and maintain the area. History being made in Columbia County on this Juneteenth holiday, where people turned out to celebrate the first branch of the NAACP in Columbia County. This comes after the National Executive Committee of the organization approved the charter for the branch back in February.
The reason why we have a Juneteenth and we have those that were enslaved is for the lack of information 2.5 years after the Declaration of Independence. And so we want to make certain that we are doing what is necessary to educate those that are around us so that everybody operates in liberty, whatever type of, from whatever bondage that they may be in.
And remember, the 115th National NAACP Convention is next month in Las Vegas. The Georgia Convention coming up in October in downtown Augusta at the Marriott. Still ahead right here, giving the gift of life. You can help keep a local blood center stocked all summer long.
Well, less than 24 hours from now, it'll be the official first day of summer. Not a bad day, but temperatures in the 90s. Also the longest day of the year. Sunrise at 6:18, sunset at 8:40 tomorrow night. Roger 6 forecast in just a few minutes.
Hi, ET.
No further questions.
Our Giving Your Best blood drive here at Television Park really helped to boost the local blood supply, and thank you for that. You know, Shepherd helped fill all the local hospital orders last week, and then after that, the shelves were pretty much empty. Summertime's tough anyway, because everybody's on vacation. They can't donate as they can in other parts of the year, so we really do appreciate y'all taking some of the strain off the center.
Our shelves are really, they're getting there. But everything that's donated on a daily basis goes directly back into our community as we fulfill local hospital orders. Yesterday here at WJBF, we were able to get 35 good units, which saves roughly over 100 lives.
To donate, you can find a blood drive closest to you on Shepherd's website, or just go to one of their 5 locations around the area. A new Bitcoin mining facility on its way to Swainsboro. It's called Clean Spark, and they've acquired 5 new facilities in Georgia, including Swainsboro, right here in our part of the Peach State. Sites ranging in size from 8 to 15 megawatts. There's equipment at each one, and there's already a facility in Sandersville. Some rural hospitals are going to get money in these parts, thanks to Governor Brian Kemp. $6 million in funding going to be handed out as part of the dual-track rural hospital support program. Of that money, Emmanuel and Washington County Medical Centers will each get $500,000. Jefferson Hospital in Louisville gets $250,000. Turpin Hills, a neighborhood with a lot of history in Augusta, could soon get a lot of attention to revitalize it. There's going to be a community meeting tomorrow for the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing in Richmond County. And what this would do would make housing conditions all over town much better. Turpin Hill got picked as the pilot area because of all the blighted homes and the bad infrastructure there. It needs some TLC, and they're going to talk about it tomorrow at the Mays Community Center. It kicks off at 6. Our chief meteorologist, Tim Miller's back with us.
Yeah, another day that's on the books for the almost a perfect day, right? Average high is 92. We're at 90 for the high, so about this morning at 65. Continue the trend for one more day before we add the heat, humidity, and the rain. Back to the forecast. Details are ahead.
Hey, sister, you know how we can do the same for you. Weather headlines on News Channel 6, brought to you by Hickson Roofing. The News Channel 6 mobile app is now even better. Download it today. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live 5/6.
Time to think of all those summer songs like In the Summertime by Mungo Jerry, Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful, Summer by the group War. I mean, we can go on. Brad, you're going to have to add some more to the list there. 88 is our current temperature reading over to Bushfield. Feels like 90. Winds are easterly at 10. Relative humidity at dew point, not bad. I mean, 45%, 64-degree dew point. It's getting up there, but not nearly as high as it can be and as high as it's going to be as we get towards the weekend. In the meantime, temperatures will fall here into the 70s, then into the 60s. 65 will be the lowest. We'll go by about 5 in the morning before those temperatures start to rise. So summer starts tomorrow afternoon, officially, right? Warm and dry for now. A few afternoon storms on Friday as that high pressure will finally break. And that's going to allow a fetch of moisture in from the Atlantic that will last for days. And that's good news for us because the heating of the day, and there'll be plenty of heat, will fire off those afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the weekend and early part of next week. Right now, it's relatively quiet. The heat is really towards the Midwest and Northeast, where they're baking in the mid-90s, low to mid-90s, which for us is not a big deal, but for them it certainly is. Notice the rain in parts of Texas. That is the outer bands of Alberto, Tropical Storm Alberto. Let's get the very latest on this storm. This looks very impressive, although it's not very organized. Wind speeds of 40 miles per hour, so it's barely a tropical storm, but it's moving towards the west, southwest, about 9 miles per hour, so it's going to make a line right towards Mexico. Here is the track from the Hurricane Center, and as it does so, once it makes the mountains of Mexico, it's toast. It'll be torn up by those mountains, and that'll be the end of Alberto. However, behind Alberto in the Bay of Campeche, where the water's pretty warm still, even though Alberto's steering it up here a little bit, I think there could be another system develop. Something we'll be watching very, very closely. Out in the Atlantic, there could be something we'll be watching, but I want to jump ahead to 10 o'clock tomorrow night. The high pressure breaks. This will allow plenty of moisture in from the Atlantic. The arrows pointing in the direction of which way the moisture is coming. And the heat of the day, that'll fire off these scattered showers and afternoon thunderstorms that we'll be experiencing really all the way through the early part of next week. And that's good. We need the rain, and we're going to get it. And we'll also have to watch and see if this low that develops turns into something tropical. It's possible. It's about a 20% chance, but nonetheless, you know how these things can rapidly change, and that's why we're on top of it for sure. Temperatures 90 tomorrow, and then all bets are off. Temperatures mid, maybe upper 90s. Then you throw the humidity in. The heat index will feel like 100 plus starting through the weekend, really through much of next week. And then those afternoon showers and storms will make it feel a lot better once they start to fire up. 65 overnight low tonight. It will be quiet. It will be clear, generally speaking, a mild night. 90 tomorrow. Not expecting any rain. All of us pretty much 90, 92 degrees, where we should be for this time in June, the first day of summer. Notice the 10-day forecast brings the rain back. Again, not a washout any of those days. It's just those better chances of afternoon showers and storms, but hot during the day before those storms fire up. And you will definitely need your Viper 6 umbrella. Tonight's winner is Cassandra Dixon of Hepzibah. Congratulations to you, my dear. Got yourself a Viper 6 umbrella. Register to win yours at WJBF.com.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim. Coming up, the Braves looking to sweep the Tigers at home, and we're going to hear from the new head coach of Greenbrier's football team. A new age for the Pack in sports.
Transform your journey. Now, WJDF sports coverage you can count on.
Football season is fast approaching, and many teams have gone through small changes in the offseason, but for one local team, there's been a huge change: their head coach. Greenbrier football has a new leader at the helm in head coach Sean Tiernan, who took over following the retirement of Tony Kramer. This is the first time the program has changed hands in a decade, so they made sure to pick an alum. Tiernan played football at Greenbrier as well as baseball, where his team won a state championship. Since then, he's been the offensive coordinator at Thompson, and he says despite an adjustment period getting used to his new role, he and his team are excited for this season.
There's a lot of learning that goes along with it. It's not just showing up and coaching anymore. There's a lot of administrative things that go along with it, but it's great. The kids have done a great job making an easy transition. I'm really enjoying it, and we're really looking forward to the season coming. Biggest thing is just creating a culture where you just don't give up. No matter what the score is, we're just going out, we're competing every single day, and not ever giving up. And that's the biggest thing that we've been preaching: finishing practice, finishing these drills, and finishing games.
Greenbrier opens their season against Harlem on August 16th. The Augusta Green Jackets opened their series against the Salem Red Sox with a very close loss that featured Salem walking it off in the ninth for the 2-1 win. So tonight, they'll look to respond in Game 2. Fuentes gets the start on the mound. First pitch is at 7:05, and I'll have those updates at 11. Over in the MLB, the Braves hosted the Tigers as they looked for their series sweep. Bottom of the third, Braves up 1-0. Bases empty for Austin Riley. He hits a shallow fly ball. Akil Baddoo dives but can't hang on to it. Riley goes to second. Baddoo had the ball, but the ground jarred it loose at the last moment. Missed opportunity for the Tigers. Two batters later, Sean Murphy up to bat. He hits a fly ball deep to right center field for the 2-run homer. That drop ball from earlier bites the Tigers as the Braves now lead by 3. Bottom of the fourth, Ramon Laureano leading off. He sends a fly ball 426 feet to left center for the solo home run. That's his first homer in a Braves uniform, and Atlanta leads 4-0. They go on to earn the shutout win 7-0 and get the series sweep. Next up is a visit to the Yankees that starts on Friday. And finally, the Men's College World Series is down to the final 4 teams, but tonight it could become the final 2. Tennessee is taking on Florida State right now and leading 6-2 in the top of the 8th. Florida is gearing up for their game against Texas A&M. Both of these games could decide which 2 teams will play in the championship series. I'll have those updates on the Men's College World Series later on tonight. It should be very exciting, Brad.
Should be.
I'm hoping for Florida State, personally.
Yeah, a little SEC and ACC action could be good.
Love it.
We'll be right back.
The Salvation Army hits MASH TV. 2 full hours of MASH laughs.
What about rank? Can I help it if I'm not as rank as you?
Weeknights starting at 6 on BTV.
Look at this. A British artist celebrated his creation of sculptures of famous entertainers out of sushi, and he's showing them off to the world right now. Ed Sheeran, English soccer player Bukayo Saka, among those to have their likeness made out of sushi with all the ingredients: rice, salmon, pickled ginger, you name it. Michelle Wiboa says she did it for International Sushi Day. Great job.
Those are the most delicious sculptures I've ever
Oh,
seen.
yeah.
Do y'all like sushi?
Yes.
Sushi's good, like the
Very
California
much
roll,
so.
like beginner sushi.
Oh my goodness.
How about you?
Help me.
If it's not fried in a pan, it doesn't come to Tim Miller's lips. That's all I'm going to say about that. Moving along.
Feel you.
90 for the high tomorrow, and then we're finally into summertime big time with those chance of showers and storms and highs in the mid-90s.
All right, 10, thanks a lot, Kira. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Have a good night.